Karachi in July smells like sea salt, diesel, and something burning somewhere no one can find. The kind of heat that makes even the pigeons look tired. Rayyan stood outside a crowded bus stop near Sadr, leaning against a cracked concrete wall. He wore a washed-out burgundy oversized tee tucked halfway into straight-leg black trousers, beat-up New Balance 574s on his feet, one lace grayer than the other. No jewelry. No watch. Just a cheap tote bag from a bookstore that closed 2 years ago and a face that gave nothing away. 26 years old. The kind of quiet that made people think he was either very calm or very dangerous. He was both. And tonight, nobody in this city knew his name for real. Across the street, a girl in a bright cobalt blue cord set, wide-leg pants and a cropped zip-up, was having what could only be described as a full confrontation with a parked motorcycle that had scratched her bike. Silver chunky sneakers. Hair in a low bun with 2 pencils stuck through it like she forgot and then accepted it. A canvas crossbody covered in iron-on patches. She was not yelling. She was worse than that. She was calm and precise, and the guy she was talking to looked like he wanted the ground to open. She made her point. He nodded. She walked away without looking back. Rayyan watched the whole thing from across the street and felt something he had not felt in about 8 months. Amusement. Real, chest-warm amusement. He crossed the road before his brain could stop him. Okay, but that was actually a TED Talk, he said. She turned. One brow up. Zero interest on her face. You watched that? The whole bus stop watched that. She looked past him at the bus stop. A few people quickly looked away. Great, she said. Audience and everything. Her name was Noor. She told him 12 minutes later over a plate of chaat from a stall with no chairs, just a wooden counter and a guy who clearly had opinions about the correct chutney ratio. She ate standing up, completely unbothered. A small gold stud in her nose caught the streetlight. There was ink on her left wrist, not a tattoo, just a note she had written to herself in marker and not washed off yet. You live here? She asked. Passing through, Rayyan said. That is the most suspicious answer possible. Is it? She looked at him sideways. It either means you are doing something sketchy or going through something. He said nothing. Second one, she said, reading his face like a receipt. Definitely second one. He almost told her right there. He stopped himself. The night was humid and loud and she had green chutney on her thumb she had not noticed yet, and Rayyan, standing at a chaat stall with no chairs and a girl who did not know his last name, felt something creak open inside him like a window in a house that had been shut for too long. His phone lit up in his pocket. He did not need to look to know who it was. He left it glowing, face down, on the counter. Noor noticed. She did not ask. That was the first sign. 3 weeks in and they had a routine neither of them named. Same street corner, same chaat stall, same counter that wobbled slightly on the left side. Rayyan always got there first. Noor always arrived exactly 4 minutes late with a different tote bag and a new marker note on her wrist. 1 week it said, follow up. The next it said, do not apologize. This week it said, stay. He noticed all of it. He did not say any of it. She wore a sage green button-down today, oversized, sleeves rolled to her elbows, tucked into wide-leg cream linen trousers. Platform loafers. The kind of outfit that looked effortless because she spent exactly 0 effort trying to impress anyone. Rayyan had come in a stonewashed navy hoodie and dark olive wide-leg pants, his New Balances traded for black slip-ons that had seen better days. He looked like someone comfortable with disappearing. Because he had been practicing it. You said you build things, Noor said, blowing on her chai from a clay cup the stall owner had started keeping for them specifically. What kind of things? Infrastructure. That tells me nothing. Supply chains. Moving goods. Cutting waste out of systems. She looked at him steadily. That is not a hobby. No. That is a career. A serious one. He said quietly. She let the word sit there. She was good at that, not filling silence just because it existed. You walked away from it, she said. I needed to know something first. What? He looked at her. The streetlight behind her made the pencil she had forgotten in her bun cast a tiny shadow across her cheek. Whether anyone actually sees me, he said. Or just what I come with. Nor was quiet for a long moment. She turned her clay cup in both hands. That is either the most self-aware thing I have ever heard, she said. Or the most calculated. I know. And you are just going to sit with me knowing I do not know which one it is. You are still here, he said. She looked at the counter. A muscle in her jaw moved. There was someone, he said. Before this. She found out about a deal I closed. A big one. She cried. And I thought it was because she was proud. He stopped. She was calculating what percentage of it she could claim if things went a certain way. Nor did not say she was sorry. She did not tell him he deserved better. She just looked at him with this expression that was not pity and was not distance and said, that is a very specific kind of invisible. He stared at her. Yeah, she said softly. I know what that is. And then she stopped. Like she had said too much. She picked up her chai. Her hand was not quite steady. Rayanne opened his mouth. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen and something moved across her face so fast it was almost imperceptible. She stood up and walked 2 steps away and answered with her back to him, one hand pressed flat against the stall's wooden post. When she came back she sat down and smiled. All good, he asked. Completely fine. But her chai sat untouched for the rest of the evening. And Rayanne, who knew what a practiced smile looked like because he had worn one for 6 months straight, felt the first cold thread of something pulling at the edge of everything they had built. He found out by accident. The way you always find out the things that matter. He had come early to the stall. The owner, a quiet man named Bashir who communicated mostly through eyebrow movements and chai refills, handed him a folded piece of paper without a word. Girl left it yesterday, he said. Rayanne opened it. It was a printed article. A business profile. His name in the headline. His actual name, the one Noor had never asked for. A photograph from 3 years ago at a conference in Dubai. The article detailed the company he had built from one rented warehouse into a logistics empire that handled freight across 4 countries. Under the article, in Noor's marker handwriting, 3 words, since when, Rayanne. He sat down on the plastic stool. She had known. At some point she had figured it out or been told and she had sat across from him, cup in hand, eyes steady, and said nothing. The question was when. She showed up 9 minutes late. Today's tote said, "Be honest," in block letters across the front like it was taunting him. She wore a rust-red fleece jacket over a white-fitted long-sleeve and straight-leg dark jeans, chunky white sneakers. She sat down and looked at the counter first before she looked at him. How long? He asked. She did not pretend. 2 weeks ago someone sent me a link, she said. And you just kept coming here. Yes. Why? She met his eyes. Because I wanted to see if you would tell me. On your own. Before it became something you had to explain. You were testing me. You were testing me first, she said, no anger in it, just fact. He had nothing to answer that with. I am not mad, she said. But I need you to understand something. I have had exactly one person in my life see me as more than a version of myself that was convenient for them. One. And when that ended it took me 2 years to stop feeling like a supporting character in my own life. Noor. I cannot be someone's experiment, she said. Even a beautiful one. The fan above them clicked. Somewhere outside a kid was yelling about a kite stuck in a wire. I know, he said. I am telling you now. Everything. Whatever you want to know. She looked at him for a long time. Okay, she said. And then, soft and careful, then tell me about the sacrifice. He went still. Because whatever made you walk away from that, she tapped the folded article on the counter, was not just a bad relationship. That was grief. He looked at the chai he had not touched. My younger brother, he said. He was supposed to run the company with me. He was the one who actually believed in it first. He died the same week we signed our biggest contract. He paused. I was in a meeting when it happened. I did not answer the call. The stall went quiet around them. Noor reached across the counter. She did not hold his hand. She just rested hers next to his. Not touching. Just present. That was the moment everything shifted from complicated to irreversible. And then her phone rang again. Same number. She stared at it longer this time. Who is that? He asked. She stood up slowly. Someone I owe a conversation I have been avoiding. She picked up. Walked to the doorway. And this time Rayanne heard two words before her voice dropped. I know, Kamil. A name. One she had never mentioned, his name was Kamil. Noor's ex. Not just an ex, the kind of person who rewrites the story of who you were so slowly you do not notice until you are living in a version of yourself you did not choose. Rayanne found out the way he found everything out lately. Not from Noor. From the city itself. He was at a cafe in Clifton waiting for a call from his lawyer, and there was Noor at a corner table, leaning forward across from a man in a pressed white linen shirt and expensive slides, the kind of low-key rich that announced itself through fabric quality. Clean cut. Confident. The kind of guy who used the word "we" in conversations about things he did alone. Kamil was doing most of the talking. Noor was doing that thing where she went very still, which Rayanne now knew meant she was holding something back. He left before she saw him. That evening she texted, something came up, can we meet tomorrow? He replied, saw you at the cafe. 3 minutes of no reply. Then, how much did you see? He replied, enough. She called. He picked up on the second ring. He wants to get back together, she said, no warm-up. And he knows about you. Rayanne's jaw tightened. How? Because I told him. Because he asked why I was not coming back and I was honest for the first time with him in probably 2 years and I said there was someone who made me feel like a full person and not a project. The city hummed through his window. Distant traffic. Someone's music from downstairs. He said you were performing, she said quietly. That the whole thing, the disguise, the chaat stall, all of it, was a rich guy doing poverty tourism to feel something. Is that what you think? Rayanne asked. A long silence. No, she said. But I needed to hear myself say it out loud. Noor. He has something, she said. Something I need. Not from him. From before. When we were together I was involved in his family's foundation work. There are documents, grant approvals, things I co-authored. He is claiming they are his. I need them back before a submission deadline in 4 days or I lose the program I have been building for 3 years. Rayanne was quiet. I did not tell you because it felt like I was using you, she said. And I refused to do that. But you would rather lose 3 years of work. Yes. That is the most stubborn thing I have ever heard. I know. He made a decision in the silence that followed. He did not announce it. He did not ask her permission. Go home, he said. Get some sleep. Do not meet with him again. Rayanne, you cannot just. I am not fixing it for you, he said. I am fixing the part where someone used your name on work you built. That is not about you and me. That is just wrong. She did not speak for a moment. You are going to call in a favor. Several. That is going to cost you something. Yeah, he said. It usually does. The line stayed open. Neither of them hung up. The city breathed around them both in separate rooms. Why? She finally asked. He thought about his brother. About a phone he did not answer. About all the things that cannot be undone and the very few things that still can. Because I was there, he said, when someone needed me once. And I chose wrong. She said nothing. But he heard her exhale. Slow and full. And then a message hit his screen from a number he recognized. Camille. Somehow already in his contacts. It said, "Stay away from her or I release what I know about your brother's estate." The documents were recovered in 31 hours. Rayanne did not use money. He used a conversation, the kind only possible when you have spent years watching how systems actually move and who in them owes what to whom. Camille had filed the grant applications under a joint entity. Noor's name was on the original research. A single legal letter from the right firm made the timeline undeniable. It cost Rayanne nothing financial. It cost him the last professional bridge he had kept intact from his old life. The one contact who still called him by his former title. He burned it clean and did not look back. Noor got the documents on a Wednesday morning. She sat on her apartment floor in an oversized white tee and fuzzy socks and cried for about 4 minutes and then opened her laptop and got back to work. She texted Rayanne a single message. It came through. He replied, "I know." She typed and deleted 3 things. Then sent, "Come to the stall tonight." He came. Olive tote, worn black trousers, the New Balances again, one lace still grayer than the other. She was already there when he arrived, sitting on the plastic stool in a camel-colored oversized knit, straight-leg jeans, her chunky white sneakers. Hair down for once, no pencils, no bun. The marker note on her wrist said, "Enough." Bashir set 2 chai cups down without being asked and disappeared into the back with the energy of someone who had been waiting for this moment longer than both of them. "You burned something," she said. "Old wood," he said. "Needed to go anyway." Rayanne. Noor. She looked at him the way she had that first night. Not calculating. Not guarded. Just honest, the way some people only let themselves be when they are done being afraid. "I spent 2 years convincing myself that being alone was the same as being free," she said. "And then I stood at a chaat stall with a stranger who forgot to lie about everything except one thing." "What did I lie about?" "That you were just passing through." He almost smiled. "Almost." "The thing Camille said," she continued. "About your brother's estate. I need you to know it did not change anything. Whatever happened back then, whatever came after, it is not the part of you I see." He looked at his cup. "I did not answer the call," he said, quiet and flat. "That is just the truth. I told myself the meeting could not wait. It could have waited. Everything that came after, the success, the contracts, all of it felt like something I was building over a hole I refused to look at. And now?" He looked up. "Now I am looking at it," he said. Finally. The fan clicked overhead. The city moved around them in its usual loud, unbothered way, motorcycles and voices and the smell of street food and salt air drifting in from somewhere nearby. Noor reached across and this time she did not stop before touching his hand. She just held it, simply, the way you hold something you intend to keep. "I am not a project," she said softly. "I know. And you are not a redemption arc. I know that too. So what are we?" He turned his hand over and held hers back. The streetlight came through the gap in the stall's curtain and landed exactly between them. "Two people," he said, "who finally stopped performing for the wrong audience." She exhaled. Slow. The kind of exhale that takes months to earn. Outside, a kid somewhere was yelling about a kite. The city did not pause for any of it. It never does. But at a chaat stall with no chairs and a wobbling counter and a man named Bashir who made chai like it was an act of faith, two people sat in the kind of quiet that does not need filling. Noor's wrist caught the light one more time. The marker note said enough. And for the first time in a long time, for both of them, it was the end.